Welcome to the Fast and Fun Friday Run series, where today I'll be talking about how to run a sub 40-minute 10k. Let's go! Oh yes, welcome everybody, my name's Donato and welcome to my channel, where today on the Fast and Fun Friday series I'll be talking about how to run a sub 40-minute 10k. Yeah, that's right guys. And from the feedback I've been getting from you guys in terms of the preludes, and if you are new to my channel, a warm welcome, but I would highly recommend click on the link up there, which is a prelude to this particular series and gives you a bit of a background in terms of where I've come from and what this information I'm going to be sharing with you. But the common feedback that we had from a lot of people is they want it to be interactive, which means involving you guys. So leave in the comments below, add what works for you in terms of getting your sub 30 or getting faster, sub 40, running faster in your 10Ks. What works for you? Leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And also any feedback regarding this particular video. And if you are new here and you want to help support in some way, then I would love it if you click on that link down there and subscribe to this channel. And whether you are new, not new, whatever, and to support this particular channel, why not buy me a coffee? I've left a link below on this website called Ko-fi. I know I'm a tea drinker, but I couldn't find a tea website, so I found this place called Ko-fi. So if you look down there, Ko-fi, Ko-fi/Donato, click on that link and you can help support this channel in some way. So thank you all so much. So without further ado, let's crack on with how to run a sub 40-minute 10k. Yes, it was only last Sunday when I ran a 39:26 10k, and that was after 3 months being laid off from injury, where I'd done hardly any running. So you're probably going to be wondering, what training did I do? Which is one of my first points in terms of how we go about running a sub 40-minute 10k, but also how to get quicker. But I'll be covering 5 areas. The first one being the training, the second one being in terms of the diet that we have, third one, reduction of risks of injuries, fourth one, in terms of race day strategy, and fifth, a summarising of the whole thing and what the key things that we need to take forward going on that. So let's crack on with the first one, which is training. Everybody wants to know, what kind of training do we need to do to get faster? Yeah, and it's different for different people. So you can key in and Google to look up training plans, but the key thing, right, whatever training plan you follow, whatever training that you do, is do one that works for you and fits in with the lifestyle that we have. Sometimes life can get in the way, yeah? Family, children, mortgages to pay, jobs, stressful, deadlines that we have to follow. These are all things that we have in our daily lives that we need to fit in with our particular training that we do. But the key thing, whatever plan you have, is one thing and one thing only, and I may say this many times, and that is keep it consistent. The training needs to be consistent. So however many days you want to go out doing your training runs, whether it be 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days, and whatever you want to encompass in that, have your training plan, but follow that plan and keep it consistent. That's the essential takeout away from the training. But what type of training? If there was one type of runs that I would say is essential, not just a 10k, but all types of running, in terms of distance and endurance, and 10k is a long way. Yeah, it's when I was a beginner, it was like, whoa, forever. I could barely run for the bus, let alone run 1 kilometer. And here I am running 10ks, and my first 10k was it was just under an hour. So how did I take off 20 minutes? And that was 3 years ago. So it takes time and effort to bring in those speeds and get those speeds. So in essence, what is that one thing? For me, it's the easy runs, yeah. And how easy? People say, well, what pace do I need to go at? What's an easy run? How does that compare to race pace and all that type of stuff? And getting into the nitty-gritties and the science, pace for me means nothing, because the pace can be affected when I go on a training run. The pace can be affected by how I particularly feel on the day. I might be stressed with something that's going on. That could change the particular effort. Also, there's other factors. I may have a bit of a fever, the temperature, the climate that's outside, the terrain that I'm going to run on. The pace has no meaning. The key thing is effort, 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 effort. And it's all about easy effort. The runs, for me, the cornerstones of whatever distance is for endurance it's the easy runs, and that helps build our aerobic base, because we need an excellent aerobic base to run a great 10K. It really is that. It's so essential to get a good aerobic base. So what effort do we need to do? You may have heard of things like the Maffetone method, and there's all types where you can do some calculations of maximum heart rate and what is an easy heart rate. But if you have one of these watches, the key area, because I think a lot of people make mistakes of either going too slow or too fast, and they're not in what I call the sweet spot. And the sweet spot in essence would be what people would see as zone 2. Now, if you've got these watches or whatever, and there's apps out there, you need to have a heart rate monitor to track your particular heart rate for your training. If you want to get scientific, if you don't want to be a scientific, it's conversational, but conversational, not too easy conversational, yeah? Conversational where you can converse but you're not out of breath. If you're out of breath, you're going too fast. If it's talking like this, nice, easy, I'm going too slow. Well, I'm not moving, I'm just sitting on my derriere here, so that's too slow. So zone 2, that makes sense. So that's the key things on the training area. Keep it consistent and easy training runs. Yeah. Number two, and I think this causes often the most debate, is the diet. What diet should we be following to run faster? Yeah, what diets do we need to do now? To run faster, a lot of the information out there is for elite athletes, and the guys who ran on Sunday with the 10K, they were coming in around 32 minutes, 33 minutes. That is like forever. You know, if I'm running a sub 40, I'm running at 39 minutes, 40 minutes, that's 7 minutes difference. That's like two kilometers to these guys. I'm at the 8K marker going fast, and they've gone even faster. So what they're doing is, and their diets is completely different. Why it may help, if you want to follow the elite athletes' diets, then carry on. But as I said, for me, it's about having fun as well and enjoying the actual process itself. So I like my pizzas, I like my Chinese takeaways, I like Indian food, I like pasta, pizza, I like all types of food, and I like my wine, I like some beer. So it's having a balanced diet, yeah, not overdoing it. And if anything, if there's one takeaway, which is told by me from a professional coach, if there's one thing not to do, yeah, is alcohol straight after a training exercise, yeah. If you've gone on some training run or whatever of an evening, and you go straight back home, and then you open that beer or wine and have that back straight after your training run, that's a no-no. And that came from a professional coach telling us in the class, this is many years ago, is the alcohol, all the stimulus that you've given to your muscles, and it's ready to recover, and it wants all the good nutrients to come in and help it recover. If you're putting alcohol in there, that's a no-no. Everything else is fine. And I'm not saying not to have alcohol ever in your life, it's about having a balance, yeah. It's just straight after those runs, yeah, after the training sessions, of not having that alcohol, okay, yeah. If you want to have it of an evening where you've not been doing any training runs, you want to chill out, that's fine, yeah, okay. Just so we're clear on that. Number three, having just come out of this reduction of risk of injuries, you know, whatever we do, it's trying to reduce the risk of injuries. And I can look back at the things that I didn't do that may have caused the injury, but I'm not here to debate that. I'm just going through some of the basics that I've learned over the years of helping reducing the risk of injuries. I don't think sometimes there's a 100% bulletproof way of stopping injuries. It's reducing the risk of injuries, yeah. One of the key takes from it is, if you're not feeling it or something's not feeling right, not to push on it or to have an extra rest day. So if something's not feeling right, have a rest. Don't push it hard. But the key things in terms of when you're doing the trainings is, prior to the training, is doing a dynamic warm-up. So a dynamic warm-up before you do your training runs, and that can be in terms of a 10-minute warm-up jog beforehand, or an easy run, doing some drills and types of stuff to warm up the muscles before the training session. In particular, if you're going to do some sprints or tempos, it's essential to be warmed up before you get into those training sessions. And then at the end of the training session, one of the most important things is doing the static stretches to stretch out the muscles and getting them ready for the next training session. Because as we exercise, the muscles contract, and we need to do the static stretches to stretch out those muscles back to the normal lengths that they were before we've done the training sessions. Make sense? Thank you. So that should help reduce the risks of injuries. Number four, race day strategy. Yeah, what strategy do we need to follow on race day? It's not just the race itself, it's preparing for the race. And in the evening, whatever meal you have, whatever you're used to, is don't overdo it. Don't have a big heavy meal the night before and don't feel bloated. Essentially stay hydrated throughout the week. I think this is almost essential for a daily thing, not just before a race, is remaining hydrated. But on the particular morning, it's just have a light breakfast, not a full fry up or anything like that. Yeah, and I know this might sound like common sense, but some breakfasts I've seen people consume before a 5k or a 10k, it's a light breakfast. For me, I just have a bagel maybe 2 hours before the race itself, just something to take away the hunger so my tummy's not rumbling, and a cup of herbal tea, lemon and ginger, green tea, whatever. So no caffeine for me. I don't have any caffeine. So that's how I prepare for the actual race itself, and that's part of my race strategies. Light breakfast and just some liquids. Not too much, because again, whilst you're running, you want to make sure that you've clearly flushed out all your bladder and everything, because you don't want to be caught out halfway through the particular race, because that can take vital seconds. And if you're going for that sub 40, having to jump to the toilet, which if you need to, then do, that could take 30-40 seconds, a minute off the particular time. But make sure that you've had a nice light breakfast and don't overdo that. But the race itself, when you're actually racing, and the same can apply for all sorts of distances, is not go out too fast. For some people may think, oh, it's only 10k. If you're used to running half marathons, it may appear to be a short distance, and yes, it is shorter, but the same principle applies, is not going out fast. I see a lot of elite guys, they still have difficulty getting their paces right at the start, where they go off too fast at the start, and that's from elite people. So we're all the same, is go at a pace that is comfortably uncomfortable. And then as the race progresses and you're getting into your stride and breathing in a nice, coherent and wonderful way, is then push it for the last 2 kilometers if you can, and just go at that pace. But the key thing to remember is not to be looking at the watch. I think looking at the watch is sometimes the most disastrous thing you can do, because if you've already set yourself a goal and you may not be feeling it for that day, the goal is unrealistic. And if you keep looking at watch and all of a sudden, say you see a time split of 4 minutes and 15 seconds, your brain's going to go, oh no, I've lost 15 seconds, I need to be going sub 4. And then your mind starts playing all sorts of things, whereas if you're just running at that pace at what you feel really good at, you've done the training, and essentially just, it's comfortably uncomfortable. Sometimes running with people helps. If you see people ahead, you can aim to try and catch those people if you want, but again, not running too hard, because they could be speeding up and you've not realised that, and then you're speeding up, and then all of a sudden, and that's early on in a race, and then you just tank and then lose your energy, and then can't maintain that pace, and then slow down considerably slower than you would have if you've kept that steady pace. So for me, in terms of how I race it, when I looked at the splits from last Sunday, every kilometre, apart from the hills, every kilometre was virtually exactly the same, give or take 5 seconds on each kilometre, because it's about how I breathe, how I feel, and how I'm pacing myself and running on field, which takes practice, practice. And that's what part of the training is when you go out training, is to practice and keeping that training consistent. So my 5th point, in summary, when we look at things like the training, the diet, the reduction of risks of injuries, the race day strategy, that whole thing, it's about the whole process. I talk about looking at it in a holistic way, the whole process in terms of where we are, what we do, and all that type of thing. It's essential. For me, I just love the whole process. I love the journey, going through the training. I love every day that I get up and I've got a training session to do. I'm so pumped and ready for that. I just love it. I just love to run. So my message to you guys is enjoy the process. It takes time, and effort to get to those speeds. Yeah, some of us get there quicker than others, and some take. You'll come to a point where you might plateau, but it's keeping the faith and keep training and enjoy it. As I say, just enjoy the process, enjoy the running. Yeah, and hopefully this video has helped you in some way. And I just love it. I mean, I love producing these things. I love sharing the information that I've learned and passing it on to you guys. And hopefully in some way you found it useful as well. So all that remains for me to say is to thank you all so much for your time and effort watching this. Hopefully you found it useful in some way. If you have, give it a thumbs up. And as I said, if you are new and you haven't already done so, please do click on that subscribe button and help support. It may help me get my next pizza, yeah? So thank you so much, and till the next one in this series, I will be seeing you